Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I also want to congratulate the Honourable Member for Folkestone and Hythe and his colleagues on the committee for their work, and in particular, as he knows, I warmly welcome their recommendation that paid-for advertising should no longer be excluded from the scope of the bill. My honourable friend, the member for Tooting, put me in touch with one of her constituents who's had some experience of online scamming. He explained that he is an experienced fund manager. He used to run his own investment management firm, and in February last year, he clicked on a link offering suspiciously high returns because he wanted to see what the scam was. And over the following months, despite repeatedly telling every caller he wasn't interested, he was subjected to a daily barrage of calls that only petered out in October. When he says, when I started challenging them after a couple of months, they started becoming abusive, threatening to sue me for slander. When I pointed out what they were doing was illegal, it actually became very stressful. Having warned Google many times, he says, it fails to take action. We do now have a well-established organised crime industry staffed by a large number of accomplished thugs, sustained by cheap and easy access to victims on Google and on Facebook. And my interest arises, and the honourable member in introducing this debate referred to this, from the inquiry of the Work and Pension Select Committee on pension scams. In a letter to us last May, the Chief Executive of the Financial Conduct Authority told us that fraud accounts now for 1 in 3 crimes in the UK, costing up to £190 billion a year, an estimated 86% of that committed online. Action Fraud says that victims of pensions-related scams who'd worked their whole lives to build a retirement fund lost £82,000 each on average. Online platforms, this is the Financial Conduct Authority Chief Executive telling us this, online platforms such as search engines and social media platforms are playing an increasingly significant role in putting consumers at risk of harm by exposing them to adverts for financial products. Fraudsters provided with unprecedentedly cheap access to an online population of consumers who find it difficult to differentiate genuine offers from the fraudulent. There are ads, the Chief Executive says, there are ads online for firms that don't exist, for firms that claim to be regulated but aren't, for firms that claim to be based in the UK but aren't, and for clones of legitimate authorised firms. So that's why, Madam Deputy Speaker, I applaud so warmly the committee recommendation that the bill should be broadened, as the Governor of the Bank of England has said, to cover online fraud, and I welcome the support for that move that's been expressed already in this debate. I referred earlier to what the Prime Minister said to the Liaison Committee last July. I quote, "One of the key objectives of the online safety bill is to tackle online fraud," and yet the current draft of the bill excludes most of the online fraud problem. So I do want to urge the Minister to tackle this in this bill head on. The public certainly want that. Aviva has published research concluding that 87% of the public want the government to legislate to stop search engines and social media platforms promoting financial scams through advertising. Up until now, ministers have said that this problem is going to be addressed by separate work on online advertising. That really is not enough. That work is proceeding at a snail's pace at the moment. 3 years ago, in February 2019, DCMS announced it was considering the regulation of online advertising. 3 years on, there's been no progress at all. We understand now there's going to be another consultation later on in this year. It's going to be years before that work delivers. And in the meantime, thousands will have lost their life savings. UK financial services will have suffered further damage. The government must not surrender to organised crime in that way. I do urge the Minister to accept the recommendation that the committee has made.